All right there, good morning to you. Ryan D.I.Y. live, 4 a.m. It's actually a little bit before 4 a.m., but we've been on a little stint there of well before. Been doing quite a bit of writing and admin work here the last couple of weeks. So, when it strike the kettle when it's hot type deal, or I forget the exact term, or strike the iron while it's hot. Yeah, it's still a little early, so my analogies and puns are probably going to be a little bit off. So this week, hey, want to follow up, of course, and keep the progression is the main point. Today we got progress is profit. Last week it was a moral P&L, and it's a critical one. It really is. Like, I hope that P&L thing lights a fire, because if you do monthly P&Ls on yourself, you really get a good fix on where your expenses are, where you can cut, and how you kind of attack things in a month by month process, quarterly, and how you can kind of get ahead of the game. If you're new to this, what it really does help you too, if you can, is get to the point of your savings, but also buying in bulk now. I'm going to get to the episode, but it shows you how you can forecast, look forward, what's next, instead of really a day by day or weekly. Those are the things that we see that are mistakes. When you can buy in bulk, when you can do things like that and say, because inflation is going to get worse, costs will get worse. We know this to be. If you're an economist, or if you don't do it, if you study these things, everyone's saying the same thing, which is true. You can see how these things are going to be. So that's why we take a moral P&L, and that's why you go through those things, is so that you are not torn to and fro. You're getting ahead of the game. You're staying on top and maintaining the resolution to a goal, and then you're seeing progress. And when you see progress, now you're in confidence and momentum. So whenever you have a little bit of progress is profit. That is what you hang your hat on. In my restaurant days, I worked for a company that was second to none. Chart House Enterprise back in the 1990s. The leadership was fantastic. I mean, just absolutely about as core as it gets. And they did have a pyramid to success. They did. And they had a lot of great slogans. And one of them was to hang your bummer at the door. And it's because, life is tough, man. So the last thing you want to do is go into an evening where you're just regurgitating, or however you want to say it, crap. And so when you have a little bit of progress, that's the stuff to focus on. The enemy always wants you to focus on the negatives. And so this week I've been in a particular study, and in that study, it was examining about progress. The old school wanted the old glory. The old school didn't want to work. They wanted what it was before. The new generation was happy at what was happening. They were rebuilding something. And in that day, there was a little bit of progress. They established something like a pillar, and they celebrated. But yet one class of that society grumbled and complained. The other class of that society was celebrating what took place. They had a pillar up. So much work in that day took place. It's the little things like that. So if you're in the gym, this week, you found yourself adding a 10-minute clip to your run or to your swim, and it just happened. And so that's the type of stuff where if you're self-examining, taking those P&Ls or writing stuff down, you're like, whoa, I just did 45 minutes today. And that happened to me. I'm not losing weight, but something happened to where I was just in a zone. And what do you know, man? I was like, wow, I told my wife about it. I'm like, hey, I haven't swam at 45 minutes and I don't know how long. And it was like I was like struggling between 25 or whatever, and just got in a zone. And so it broke, like, that little wall that was there, it's not there. That's the type of stuff where you celebrate. Progress is profit. So I hope that encourages you today Because if you're keeping track of stuff, if you're doing all the things in the previous episodes, you get a little bit of that there. And if you don't celebrate that, you're kind of missing all that work, right? And I know we can get laden down. Hold on for a second. Hey, get out of there. That's my little dog trying to get into our new little pet. So you're going to miss that stuff. And that's not good because you're doing all this work, and I see it a lot. It's like you miss it, right? You go through the whole day of doing something, and then you miss the opportunity to capitalize on something or just to do the obvious. Hey, talk about it at the end. If you have a loved one or a friend, somebody you can call, that's the stuff that connects. A text kind of does it, but when you call somebody like, hey, this started to happen, and then you connect, and then you celebrated what was taking place. And then when you go to bed and you wake up the next morning, that positive flow, the biorhythm now in your body, it's there. And if you didn't do that, it's not going to be to the levels that you want it to be. So I hope that helps you this week. Thanks for tuning in to DIY Live 4 a.m. Episode 9, Progress and Profit. Once again, be safe out there. If you don't know, you pay to know. All right. Peace.